Obviously, I thought we came out today a different team. I think it took us a little bit to get going in the first game, but then once it got going, it really got going. So I was pleased with our response to yesterday's debacle, and just looking forward for a payback, to be honest with you. I thought we did some really good things. I thought Grace had a great start and got us, what was it? Where's my box scores? Yeah, two innings of good work, and I thought she did a great job, 2 2/3. And then Peters, I let her throw quite a bit today, so I wanted her to kind of get into the groove and find some things, and I thought she did a nice job.
The changes defensively / hitting as well, when you put new center fielder, move to catcher, is this to experiment, or you might be you might go with this? Are you putting your best defensive team out there? What was your thinking on that, Trish?
Yeah, we went defensive heavy just because I feel like we've been burned too much for me not to make a change defensively for us, so it's like kind of the definition of insanity, right? You're going to keep doing the same thing over and over. So I brought AK into my office this morning, talked her through some things, and that kid, she deserves a medal. Like I hope she gets everything she deserves. But she's like, yes, put me there. Like, I'm excited. Put Mathis in center field. We just got a little bit more athletic in the outfield, and obviously some more athleticism behind the plate. Not to say that it won't go back, to what it was, but I thought I saw something that I really liked tonight.
And for Peters, last time it all runs together, 1 or 2 games she didn't look that good. Tonight, what was different? Because she was hitting 69 a couple times. She seemed in control, even when she went 3-0, came back, and then it just seemed to be different.
Yeah, I mean, I hope that we get to a point, and that was my conversation with him. I said it very nicely, as you can imagine. Like, when are we going to be tired of this? Like, when are we going to take control, and when are we going to stop pitching? Like, I want us to pitch with control. I want us to pitch with confidence, and I thought we saw that today out of Peters especially. But I thought Grace did a great job as well. I thought Grace came in, and that's a tough start after you got a nice talking to. As a staff, a pitching staff, I think, as a senior, it takes tremendous amount of just focus to come out and do a good job.
And maybe the slow start out, you had errors, but she also had one of those errors. So, I mean,
yes.
that maybe was a little bit.
The infield decided to.
Y'all were really hot on offense to finish the game against Kennesaw State, 5 runs in the 6th inning. How do y'all approach that transition between games, trying to keep those bats hot? But you're obviously facing an entirely different team.
Yeah, I think for me, it's really about our standard, and you hear me say that a lot. Like, we need to play the game the way we should play the game, and I don't really care what inning it is, who we're facing. I think that's the part where you can hear my frustration is like when we do things that are outside of the things that we work on every single day. That drives you crazy, and it drives them crazy too. I mean, at the end of the day, it's on me. And so, I think the way we carry it over is we continue that process. What is that process? Like being on time, getting good pitches, barreling balls, and I thought they did a tremendous job, especially kind of the later innings of Kennesaw State, and then, obviously into that St. Mary's game. So
KK had 2 homers in the first game. What did you think about her performance?
Yeah, I told her to swing early in the count. It's like, KK, what are we doing? So she's like, oh, Coach Ford, I took your advice. I said, oh, yeah, you got 2 home runs.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's kind of waiting. I mean, not that she's been playing poorly, but you kind of expect
she
last year.
hasn't been playing kind of how she knows that she's capable of playing, but she's still managing getting a hit a game. Like, she is scrappy. And, I love that kid. Like, I think that kid, she works so hard for this program and for her teammates, and I think that's why, even though she's, not doing the level that she's not playing at the level she wants to play at, she's still finding a way. And I think that says a lot about who she is and what kind of ball player she is.
Does it relieve some of the tension, if there was any, going into tomorrow facing LSU after you just run with the team that actually beat them?
Louisiana? Is that? Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. Does it relieve some tension? No. Yeah, like, I'm feisty. Like, let's go. Like, I want to play right now. So I think it's going to be a tough game, but my money is on us.
How about, you talked about your hitters last night. They didn't start, last night early enough. They didn't do some things. Looked like your hitting maybe is a little more well-rounded tonight. What was your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I thought we just did a good job of passing the bat. We took walks when we needed to, and we got the big hit when we needed to. So, I think some of these arms are very different from what we have seen in the last 2 weekends, and so there's something to that. I think, and I said, hey, like, we're working on off speed and thinking about, taking the ball the other way, and they just did a tremendous job. So, this game is built around momentum, and we kept the momentum in our dugout for most of today.
AK, how do you go back behind the plate? You look like you never were not there, and it's been like 2024. How do you do that?
Going into college, I was recruited as a catcher. I've been a catcher like my entire life. It's just my comfort, really, so.
Did you feel any pressure because you guys had a bad defensive game yesterday, the whole team, and you're part of that defense, and you go out today and you start out poorly? Is that in the back of your mind, the fact that you guys weren't playing good defense? What about that pressure on you guys?
It was more like we went out there, did our best, trying to put that in the past, flush it, really.
Okay, and Ms. Peters, you looked a little bit different out there today than some of those other outings. Did you feel different, or just what was different about possibly today?
Yeah, I just think that I was really just focusing on hitting, commanding both sides of the plate. I thought I did that for the most part tonight, and just really relied on my defense and just really trusted my teammates behind me. We've been talking more about communication between the pitchers and the infield, and it's been great. And AK being back there behind the plate, she's a really good communicator herself, like constantly telling me like little things I can think about to help me get my pitches to where they need to go. So just trusting my teammates, really. It's been rough, but I know I have them through it all, so yeah.
AK, your quick switch up, like that was, you would have never known, like you did incredible and just have had incredible games. And so what was your mindset going into tonight, and just kind of after it had been a little bit of a rough run yesterday, but kind of what was your mindset and kind of the culture going into tonight?
Yeah, my mindset is always have a positive mindset going in, always give my best, always give 100% no matter where I'm playing, like just play for my team, give 100%, give my all for my teammates.
Sidne, I don't know if you pay attention, but you hit a few 69s tonight. I always like to look at, what's the biggest and what's the lowest per inning. I always like to pay attention to that. And I don't know if you pay attention, but did you feel you with a little more zip in your ball tonight, or not?
Yeah, I think I was like constantly like upper 60s. I feel like that's where I'm at my best. Also, just having movement on my rise ball, but also being able to have velo with it, like it just brings a whole nother dynamic to my ball. So I just overall I felt good, and I really just wanted to come out today and get back on track, throw my game, like for the team. It hasn't been the best in the circle this year, I know, like for me especially, but tonight was just really about going out there, commanding the zone, throwing my pitches, and hitting good spots, and trusting my defense.
So you feel a little better about tonight?
Yes, sir.
Except for that girl getting that triple possibly? Or?
Oh, yes. You had to bring it up.
AK, you were part of that offense that was really hot in the first game today. How do y'all approach that transition between the two games and try to keep those bats hot when obviously you're facing a brand new team?
We did film in between games, just really prepping for each team in advance, like knowing like what their tendencies are and like how we think they're gonna throw to us individually, and just kind of taking that approach to it.
So in the fourth inning, you and Michaela almost collided, but you ended up calling her off late. Was that kind of a point of emphasis in practice, or in the back of your mind after Maya's collision Thursday, or kind of what was going on there?
Well, I was calling it the whole time, but it was muffled because of my mask. But I feel like it was kind of just making sure everybody is calling each other and making sure we're talking to each other. I feel like we've done a better job too after like last weekend, being able to communicate between the outfield and infield, and then catcher and third base, first base, pitcher, all that.